Page Pixies, welcome back. I figured that I really wanted to go over all the books that I read in 2025 because there were a lot of really good stories out there, and I'm hoping that you guys have read similar books so that we can talk about it in the comments down below. I also love hearing about books that you enjoyed over this past year. So just go ahead and drop it in the comment section. But yeah, that's the point of today. I really just want to sit down and discuss all the books that I read in 2025. What were my top favorites? Which ones weren't as good as I was anticipating them being? And how many books did I actually read in 2025? All right, let's get to it. So for 2025, I had set a goal originally of reading 60 books in the whole year. And I actually surpassed that goal. I made it to 70 books in 2025, which is absolutely insane because I went from reading maybe 2 or 3 books, 10 tops, in a year to reading 70 books. And I would like to think that was because of Sarah J. Maas and her ACOTAR series. It was so good. It got me out of this mindset that like books were enjoyable but not like something to really like want to get into to read all the time. And just it was such a gripping story. It was so good, and now I am here and I absolutely love reading. I've read 70 books. So real quick, actually, I want to come back. I have the books. I want to physically like grab them. I'll be right back. Okay, actually, I am just gonna bring you to my shelf. I know you've seen this a few times. Sorry, I love it. It's my favorite. My husband actually made the bookcase for me. He spent a lot of time going and getting everything from Lowe's and Home Depot and getting all the wood, staining it, measuring it, just coming up with it off the top of his head. He is so talented. So I'm very, very thankful and blessed that my husband went through all this hard work. So, needless to say, I absolutely love this bookcase, and it is going to be here for a very, very long time. Forever, actually. And you're going to see it quite a bit. So, if you're tired of it, just let me know. It's not going to change anything, but just let me know. It's great. Anyways, the books. It would be a lot easier for me to just take you to my bookcase and bring them up. So I think starting off the year, some of the books that I started off reading was Lightlark, which is a really good series. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have already read it. It's by Alex Astor. It is about a girl who she is a wildling, and she believes that the whole world is like crumbling in the society, like the world's dying, whatever. She's entering into this game to try to save the kingdom. And it's been a minute since I've actually read this book, um, but it was really, really good, really well done. The way that the writing is, like the writing style, is really easy to get through. And it's just a really, really cool story. I love how, um, what is her name? Isla. I love how Isla's relationship kind of changed throughout the entire series with her and the two kings. I don't want to say too much more. I don't want to give away too much for those of you who have not read the series. But this one was really good. I enjoyed it. A real quick synopsis of it is talking about welcome to the Centennial. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game, where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves and their realms, one ruler will die. To survive, Isla Crown must lie, cheat, betray, even as love complicates everything. So, if that gives you any idea, it was a really good series. The first book I ended up giving 5 stars. I thought it was a really, really, really good story. It boosted me to want to read the rest of it, of the series. I gave Nightbane and Skyshade the same ranking just because the story was really, really good. I like the plot and how it developed and changed. There was a lot of depth between all the characters, whether it was the main love interest, Isla herself as a character. Oh my gosh, I'm just remembering the Panther. I think he's Panther. Uh, Side character. He is literally the sweetest thing ever. So if you like cute but also kind of vicious, uh, not necessarily like sidekicks but characters themselves, that's a really good one for side characters or creatures that are just so cute. You love them. You fall in love with everything about them. So I gave all of those 5 stars. I thought those were really, really good. The next couple of books I have here was I read It by Stephen King, which should be up. Ah, there it is. It by Stephen King. Holy cow, this has been on my TBR for a very long time. I want to say I had a desire to read this book back in 2018, right before they came out with the movie, the remake movies, the more recent ones. Um, and it was really, really good. It took me a couple of times to get into it. The first 2 or 3 times I tried to read it, I got only a couple of chapters in, and I was so scared. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sleep. I thought everything was in my house trying to attack me. That Pennywise was there. Um, but I finally picked it back up this year. I made it through. It wasn't as terrifying as I remember it being, but it is a very like thriller mystery, and then you kind of relive like those feelings that you have as a kid whenever you're just scared of something, that like pure terror. Um, you could get that same sensation and feeling through Stephen King's writing for it. Really well done. I will say, same tale as old as time as everybody else, right? There's one chapter in here towards the end that I was struggling to get through. I'm actually pretty sure I skipped through part of it because it just was really unnecessary, um, and made me very uncomfortable. So just trigger warning at the end of this one. So I gave Stephen King's It a 5 star as well. All right. And the next book I read this year was The Perfect Marriage, right, by Geneva Rose. And this one was really, really well done. I can't quite remember how the beginning started, but basically, this defense attorney, she is in a situation where, I think her husband was being put up for murder, and you have this sneaky suspicion like everything is not what it seems to be, right? So at the beginning, you think it's one thing, you think that it's clear cut, the person who is the murderer is going to get caught and go to jail, and then you find out at the end that who you thought it was is not the person who did it. But real quick, the actual description of the book is Sarah Morgan is one of the best criminal defense attorneys in Washington, D.C., with a perfect case record and having made named partner before the age of 35. Her life is going exactly as she planned. However, the same cannot be said for her husband, Adam, a failed author who's grown to resent his wife's meteoric success as he feels it's come at the expense of their relationship. For almost 2 years, Adam has kept his affair with Kelly Summers a secret, but everything changes when her body is discovered at the couple's lake house and Adam is arrested on suspicion of murder. Sarah now finds herself facing her most challenging case yet when she vows to defend her husband, a man accused of murdering his mistress. While Adam is certainly guilty of sleeping with Kelly, the question remains, is he guilty of killing her too? I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. And then it obviously propelled me to want to read The Perfect Divorce when it came out. Um, and that one was actually really, really good too. I mean, The Perfect Divorce, it was to be expected, right? If you have read The Perfect Marriage, you kind of understand what I am talking about. It was to be expected the way that the relationship with Adam and Sarah went at the beginning of that book, and then jumping into the next problem with Sarah. it's just page turning. It's crazy fast paced. Again, you're getting more of that like mystery thriller sleuth detectiveness in there, feeling wise, and then it's another major plot twist at the end that you're like, oh my god, I never would have seen this coming. Now, if you're someone who frequently reads thrillers or mysteries of like who done it, who killed, who actually did this crazy thing, or psychological thrillers, it may not have surprised you. But I am brand new to it, so this year I delved into more like thrillers or mysteries than I usually do, and I really thought it was great. It was really well written. I gave A Perfect Marriage 5 stars, and then The Perfect Divorce. What did I give it? I want to say I gave it 4 stars. Where is it? Hmm. There it is. Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Again, because the first book, it's new. You don't expect anything to be the way that it is. It's fresh, right? And then the second book, you kind of have an understanding of what could have happened. Let's see. The next one in my list is Five Survive by Holly Jackson. And if you have no idea what this book is about, it's very similar theme to her series, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's just a little bit more like a novella almost. Not a novella, because novellas are really short. How do I want to say this? Like, there's no way there could have been a fault, like, turned this into a series. So it's a one book um, show, I guess is the best way to put it. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. The synopsis is that Red Kinney is on a road trip for spring break with 5 friends: her best friend and her older brother, his perfect girlfriend, a friend from school, and the guy Red wishes was more than a friend. But they won't make it to their destination. When their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, they soon realize this is no accident. They've been trapped by someone out there in the dark, someone who clearly wants them dead. With 8 hours until dawn, the 6 friends must escape, figure out which of them is the target. But is there a liar among them? Buried, their secrets will be forced to the light, and tensions inside the RV will reach deadly levels. Not all of them will survive the night. So, again, 5 survive. If you have 6 friends, one of them's obviously going to die. So that part is kind of spoiled by the title of the book, but what you didn't expect is like who were the people that plotted to trap them on the side of the road in a dark night, on the middle of a road trip, and what are the secrets that are revealed. So if you really enjoy, again, the thriller mystery of like secrets being shed, almost similar to that of Pretty Little Liars, the concept of like, oh, everybody hides some type of dirty secret and we're going to air out everybody's dirty laundry by the end of the book, right? um, Very similar to that. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was thrilling. um, I would say that I liked her Good Girl's Guide to Murder series more, but it was still really good. I think I gave this a 5 star at the time. I think I would put it down to a 3.75 though. The writing was really good. I liked the story. Um, but out of all the books that I read this year, I don't think that it stuck with me as much as other ones have. Okay. The next book, I had started reading the Witcher series. So I think I'd started out with The Last Wish, which was really good. If you've never read or watched the Witcher series, it is basically about a Witcher who goes through this world, this magical like realm, and tries to hunt down and get rid of like monsters that are ravaging the lands. Um, I would say it's very similar to maybe Supernatural, but in a um like older time frame, back when like knights and kings and queens were around. Really good. The writing is very well done. Sometimes it can be a little confusing because the way that it's written, it's very, I don't want to say like old language, but it is not something that you commonly see in writing today. So it can be a little bit difficult. I don't have the entire series physically. I did listen to most of it, but I want to say for all of the Witcher books, I gave them anywhere between a 3 star and a 4 star. There were some books that were better than others. I loved the character development for Geralt. I loved when they introduced the, oh, what's her name? There's a young girl that gets introduced in here. I'm sure any fans of The Witcher, you can already tell me what her name is. I'm very new to this to this world, so please be kind. Really good, really well done. I am excited to read the new book that came out this year. Or was it late last year? It would have been late last year. So those were really good. I read The Baptism of Fire, which is in the Witcher series, and then I read The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, which this one was so cute. It was a great palate cleanser. I've never been a like romance reader before, so this was kind of out of my realm of comfortability. I mean, look at my shelf. It is mostly fantasy romantasy. So just a straight up romance was very out of left field for me. But this one is really cute. Again, it's a popular one, so you've probably heard of it. Talking about this woman who her aunt recently died and gave her the keys to her old apartment. And when she goes to live in said apartment, she finds that somebody's already occupying that space. But there's a twist, and this person is not always there because time travel. But I will leave it at that. I don't want to give 100% of the plot away. Really, really good. I absolutely loved it. I got through it real quick. I would say it is a 4-star book for me because it was one of the ones that stuck with me throughout the year. It's just such a sweet story and it's so cozy, and I would read it again, honestly. The next thing, did I read that? I don't think I read that. Sorry. I'm trying to. Yeah, I didn't read that. What the heck? That's crazy. All right. The next book that I read was The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This, I think, was my first book that I read by her, and it made me fall in love with her as an author. She is a really good author. She reads a lot of STEM romance. Writes a lot of STEM romance. And this one was so stinking cute. If you love the age gap romance, if you love a fake dating trope, this is all of that wrapped up into one. And honestly, Adam, I think that's his name. Adam, yep, he literally reminds me of Professor Snape. And Professor Snape, or not Professor Snape, that's the wrong one. I'm thinking of something else. He reminds me of what's his name off of Star Wars, Kylo Ren. So Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, just because obviously like the black hair, grumpy boy, so cute. Absolutely loved it. 5 stars. I think of this every day. So cute. I'm actually gonna have to reread that this year. The other book that I read, I was on the back end of this series this year, this past year, 2025. Okay. Was The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, which this one was really good. I absolutely love the series. It's about vampires, and it's really, really well done. So the way that the series works is it's almost like duologies for each couple. Very similar to the concept of like Bridgerton, where one book is a couple for each, person in the group. But this one is duologies for each couple. Okay, gotta make sure that was still on. So this one was really, really good. I absolutely loved Carissa Broadbent's series. The plot twist at the end, absolutely insane. I will have to reread this one because I haven't read the one that came out at the end of last year yet, but I am very excited. I think this one was about Alice. I think Alice is her name. She was the friend of the main female character in the first book, and super sweet, super cute. I absolutely love her, want the best for her as a character. I think that her romance in her duology is really well written. There's a lot of that inner work and trauma that they work through together. And yeah, the ending absolutely tore my heart out. I cried. I think I gave this one 5 stars, which isn't surprising. What was it? What did I give it? I gave it 4.5. Really good. And then I read Fourth Wing and Onyx Storm. So I know that sounds crazy reading Fourth Wing and then jumping straight to Onyx Storm, but I did read Iron Flame. I've already read the first 2 books in the series back in 2024, but because we were coming out with Onyx Storm last year, I wanted to reread the series. I got through Fourth Wing, and then I was like, I don't want to stress myself to read Iron Flame again to get to Onyx Storm. I already have Onyx Storm. I'm going to read it. Funny story about Onyx Storm, I went to the midnight release at Barnes & Noble for this book with my friend Isabel. It was so much fun. Everybody was dressing up. It was super packed. I think it was the night before I was supposed to take a trip out to Florida to spend some time with my friend, and we went to Disney. Um, Absolutely insane. Loved it. It was great. Wonderful experience. Both for the midnight release and for Disney, obviously. But Fourth Wing, really good if you like dragons. You're going to absolutely love Fourth Wing. I love the Violet and Xaden. They are wonderful characters for each other. They're very well written. There's a lot of depth. And when I finally got to Onyx Storm, I couldn't put it down. I literally finished it on the plane. If it wasn't on the plane, I finished it literally an hour or two after I had landed, and I landed late. It was like 2 in the morning. Um, I couldn't put it down. It was amazing. I did not, however, like the ending and that we have to wait so long for the next book. It's very similar to the feeling you get at the end of what was it? Was it New Moon or Eclipse? Right when um, Edward proposes to Bella. That was the same exact feeling I had for this one. And obviously, I had to give them 5 stars because they're fantastic. So well done. Let's put that up there. What else did I read this year? Lady is a Lake. That's Onyx Storm. Tower of Swallows, which I gave two. Tower of Swallows from The Witcher, I gave 2.5 stars. Okay, and please don't come for me in the comments. Okay, don't do it. I would love to hear your take on Tower of Swallows or just the Witcher series in general, because I feel like it's not talked about a lot. At least the books aren't, and I struggled through Tower of Swallows. It was like trudging through the trenches, and I hate to say that because I was reading it and loving the story up until that point, and then I was just like, man, I just want to get to the next book. Hopefully, the next book gets better because this is like a lot of trauma and just drug out. And I just want to get to the point where like Geralt is making progress in this storyline. So that was a little bit of a struggle for me, to be honest. Okay, so the next series that I read this year was Butcher and Blackbird. Okay, I was very hesitant to get into this series because of the idea of accidental cannibalism. I can get along with quite a bit in books. I think that, it's all fantasy fiction anyway, so I'm not too worried about like thinking that those types of things are okay because obviously they're not. They're very, very bad. Some might say morally gray, but definitely not. Just really bad. So I struggled with Butcher and Blackbird when you started to get into the scenes of like accidental cannibalism and the ice cream. Bren Weaver, why did you do that to the ice cream? But if you put that aside and the serial killing, which was an interesting twist to the love story that like carries on throughout all three books. Um, it was a really good series. I loved the way that they cared for each other in Butcher and Blackbird, because I think this one was about Rowan and Sloane. I absolutely love Sloane as a character. She definitely strikes me as like a Raven off of, what is it? Teen Titans. Very like monotone almost. But then you have her sense of humor is so funny too. I absolutely love it. Leather and Lark had to be my favorite. I think I was torn between Leather and Lark and Scythe and Sparrow as my favorite, but I think Leather and Lark was my favorite only because I audiobooked it, and the way that they narrated the voices for the characters and then the joke about budget Batman, I literally lost it. I couldn't be serious at all for this entire series. For that book and then the rest of the series, I loved it. I loved the romance that was going on throughout that book. And then when you get into Scythe and Sparrow, I loved the way that they did that too. I think my favorite was the raccoon. Enough said. The raccoon was so stinking cute. I need to see this like adapted into a series or a movie trilogy, because I think that that would be so stinking cute to see the raccoon. If nothing else, I also, I hate to say this, I didn't finish it. I got like over halfway, and then the audiobook that I was listening to became unavailable, so I didn't finish it. I think I'll probably go back and reread it because I do want to see what happened at the end of Scythe and Sparrow. All in all, though, I gave Leather and Lark a 4 star just because I loved the series, or at least the story of the like romances going through and how they developed and how they cared for each other. Um, I do think about them every once in a while, just the characters. Not a lot, but every once in a while. All right, the next series that I read was the Aragon series. So, Aragon, Eldest, Brissinger, and Inheritance. If I can get all of them here. This was a reread for me because I had read Aragon and I think Eldest and part of Brissinger when I was in middle school. And I absolutely love the story. I mean, Dragon Rider, who doesn't love that? And this kid just going through across the land and trying to defeat the evil king. I just thought that was such a cool concept. I love all of the characters. I was definitely rooting for Aragon and Arya to get together the entire time. Talk about a slow burn. I think out of all of these, it was so tough, just depending on how the books ended. I think that out of all of these, I liked Inheritance the most because they finally did the thing. Um, and it was just such a journey. I absolutely love these series of books. They will forever be rereads and well loved by me. So I would, unfortunately though, I would have to say that I only gave them like a 3, not a 3.5. I gave them like a 4 star overall because they're YAs, they're young adult books. And so the writing style and the storyline is filtered into a YA type of mentality. Like, what are they going to be able to digest comfortably, and what can parents be okay with their kids reading, right? So that's the only reason I would have given it a 3.5, 4 star, right? But the writing is beautiful. I love the story. It'll forever be holding a place in my heart. So there's that. Let's see here. What else did I read? House of Sky and Breath. So last year I got through House of Sky and Breath, Hunt Athalar, and that's it. Hunt Athalar and Bryce, they are such a great couple. These are some very thick books, Sarah. They're very big books. I love thick books, but it takes me forever and a day to get through them. And I often forget some of the small details, which is great because I know that when I go back and I reread the series again, I'm absolutely going to love and enjoy the new things that pop up in it, right? Or the things that I don't remember. But I think I gave this book a 5-star just because of the way it ended, the plot twists, and just really well done. I did actually get through that. I started House of Flame and Shadow. I've gotten halfway through at the beginning of last year, and it's been there since the beginning of last year. So I need to get through it because I want to read and understand like what's going on before the next book comes out. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Next book that I read was Powerful. Let's see here. Where did I put it? I think I put it up here. Powerful, which is a quick little novella. Definitely finished it in a day. It is really good. I loved that we revisited, what's her name? Adina's story. And then we got more of a background between her and I think he's either a baker or a smith, swordsmith, or whatever you want to call it. So heartbreaking. I definitely cried, having to relive the one scene where Adina dies. But it was really, really well done. And I think I gave Powerful, what did I give Powerful? A 3.5-star. Again, because it's a short little novella, but really well written. And then I read Sunrise on the Reaping, which I think I put it down here. Yep, I did. Sunrise on the Reaping. This one was so good. Oh my god. I love the Hunger Games series and all the characters, Katniss and Peeta and oh god, other character names are escaping me right now, but they were absolutely great characters. I loved revisiting the world. I loved how they tied back into like the nuances on Haymitch and like why he is the way that he is and why he called Katniss sweetheart. Oh man, it was heartbreaking. It was so gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching, gut-churning. Like I spent my birthday crying because of this book, and I'm happy about it. I would definitely go through the trauma again. This was definitely a 5-star read for me. I keep thinking about it a lot. Let's see here. After that, I got through the Percy Jackson series. I don't know if I want to bring the whole thing up, but just for now, I'll bring these ones up. But I do have the rest of the series on my physical bookshelf. Again, book series that I read as a teenager. Absolutely loved them. I thought it was a great series. I loved that they adapted it into a TV show. I think that the TV show is really well done. The movies back in the early 2000s, absolutely love them, even though they're not accurate to the books as much as the TV series is. Great writing, great storyline. I love the silly, ridiculous jokes that are thrown in there. The dam. Oh, damn. If you know, you know. I will always probably reread these books. Moving forward in the future, I just have a special place in my heart for them. That said, because again, they're YAs and they're books that I've already read, I think I gave them like a 3 to a 4-star overall. But I got all the way through the Son of Neptune this past year. So I loved the second series a lot, the Lost Hero and the Son of Neptune, because of the way it develops. They're getting older, so you're getting more depth into the characters and where their story is heading from there as they're getting older. And that definitely, I think I gave the Son of Neptune a 5 stars. That's definitely my favorite book in the series. What was next? Oh, Funny Story by Emily Henry. I absolutely adored Funny Story. This one was my first Emily Henry book that I've read, and it's going to hold a favorite space in my heart. It was just so ridiculous. Like, what do you mean that she got left by her fiance for the guy that she ended up moving in with ex-girlfriend? It's hard for me to explain, but you know, if you've read it, it's really good. It's so hilarious. I think of the characters every day. I love the way that their story developed and that there was that comedic like shift throughout the entire thing. Very good rom-com. I think I gave Funny Story a 5 star for sure. I also read Phantasma and Enchantra this year. These ones I gave like a 4 star, 3.5, 4 star. This one wasn't my favorite compared to Phantasma. I think it's just because we've already been in the realm before, so like there's not a lot of any like new plot twists or things unknown there, so you kind of know what to expect. I liked Phantasma. That said, Phantasma confused me into the end, and I'll tell you why. I listened to it on Spotify, and the way that it was uploaded, it was the last half of the book was titled the first half of the book, and the first half was the last half. So I was really confused when I jumped into it, and it was a spicy scene. I was like, what the heck is going on? Why is the first thing I'm reading a spicy scene between two characters that I have no idea what's going on? Like, how did they get here? Are they intimate because they love each other, or are they intimate because it's just there? I don't know. Very, very, very confused. I also didn't know like any of the characters. We were thrown in the middle of the games at this point. It wasn't until I got to the very end of the book that I realized that I missed the first half of the book. And at that point, I decided not to listen to the first half. But I still counted it because I got through, the plot line. I will probably end up rereading this in the right order this time, here in the next couple of months to a year. Okay. But I think, like I said, I gave them about a 3.5, 4 stars. It was really good. We also got Fearless this year and Fearful, and that's part of the Powerless series. I love Peyton. She's a great character. I love the way that her storyline intermixed with the King's, and it was just really, really well done. Fearless, I think, was way better than Fear. Not Fearful, Reckless. I think Fearless was better than Reckless because Reckless was definitely way too many daggers to the throat and just drug out for no reason. But Fearless was very like new and running through to the very end of the plot line, right? So I thought that was really well done. Fearful, however, I didn't finish it. I'm gonna be honest, didn't finish it. I made it halfway through and I realized that I was not enjoying it. I realized that I did not care because it was a telling of death and how Kit was experiencing death. And while it probably was really good concept and gave you more depth of Kit in like how he was experiencing life on his last final days, I couldn't mentally do it. I was just not buying into it. So I think Fearful I gave a very low rating. I think Fearful I gave like a 2.5 star. Where are you? Fearful. Yeah, I gave it a 2.5 star. But I gave Fearless a 4 star, I want to say. Fearless. Yep, I gave it a 4 star. Next, I reread Caraval, and the only reason I reread Caraval was not to bedazzle the front cover. It was to give it as a gift to my little sister, and so what I had done was I went through and I reread it, and I doodled through all the pages to kind of how I pictured the scene in my head, and I left like little notes in the margins, and I think she absolutely loved it. This is definitely a keeper series for me. I would reread it. I love Scarlet. I love her sister, Donatella, and the way that they develop as sisters as well as the romances that they fall into. And then the magic system is absolutely gorgeous. So Caraval, 5 stars. Let's see. Next thing I read, it's not here, it's in my bedroom, is Daughter of No Worlds. And there's a lot of mixed reviews on Daughter of No Worlds. I think that I liked it. I liked it a lot. I would read the rest of the series. I just haven't gotten back to it yet. There's other books that I'd like to read. But Daughter of No Worlds is very similar to not Tower, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And but there's a twist. It's like this entity, like demon, is living in the back of this girl's head. And that's where she draws all her power from, but it also drives you crazy the longer that you have it. Um, I thought that was such a really cool concept. I loved the writing. I loved the way the story developed. The characters were really, really good. I didn't get to finish the series because, again, other books kind of caught my interest, and that one was not high on my priority list. But I think I would give it a 3.75 stars. It was really good. Let's see here. The next one I read was Ministry of Time, which I think Haley Pham had recommended, and it was really cute. I have never read anything like it, where it is almost like a sci-fi, um, historical sci-fi romance, and I absolutely loved it. I don't want to give away too much, but basically, this company is going back in time and they're pulling historical figures out of their timeline that they were supposed to die in, bringing them into modern day, I think, England, or is it Britain? I can't remember. Britain. And trying to reintegrate them into society. I like the way that it was written. I like that it was like a second chance for people who had died in the past, and it was just a really cool concept. So I think I gave Ministry of Time a 4-star. I would definitely reread it. I just don't think that's going to be something that I prioritize as a reread for this year. Oh, here it is. Beach Read by Emily Henry. Again, it's in the title, perfect for the beach. It was really cute. I don't think that it stuck with me though. It's not like a life altering book to read, but it's really cute. Summary read overall. It is basically about Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they'll be living in neighboring houses, beach houses, broke and bogged down with writer's block. Then one hazy evening, one thing leads to another, and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of a rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult, obviously. Everyone will finish a book, and no one will fall in love. Really. Cute. I like the premise of the book. It's not something that stuck with me, which is probably contrary to a couple of people. A controversial thought. Let's see here. I think I gave Beach Read a 3-star. After that, I got into the Zodiac Academy, and I'm not going to bring out all the books because if you know, you know. This is like a 20-book series. You can obviously see them back on my shelf. I don't have all of them yet. So this one was a shock for sure. It was a big shock because I was not expecting the twins and how they went through life. The kings in this book series are absolutely horrible to them. I was floored by just how progressively, like, how much worse it could get for the twins in this series as the kings continued to just like bully them so bad, to try to get them to relent and revoke their crowns, right? um, so that was really crazy to me. But I will say, after the culture shock set in, I absolutely love the characters. I think the twins are great. I'm very excited to see where they go. I'm still in the middle of the series right now. I am on the back end of Ruthless Boys. I'm about to hit back into the Zodiac Academy. Um, and the storyline has just gotten so much better. Every single book, it just keeps pulling me back in for more. Um, yeah, overall, I think I like the entire series so far. I gave books 1 and 2 4 stars. And then when I got into the Dark Fae, Ruthless Fae, Savage Fae, Warrior Fae, I think that's when I started getting into the 5-star region. I think one of them got a 3.754 star out of me. But overall, this is a really good series. I think it's something that's going to stick with me moving forward. It's just so good. Highly recommend it. Let's see. It is a romantasy for sure. Okay, so then the other book I read was Love Theoretically. And this one, oh my god, I've recommended it to so many people. It is my favorite of her books so far. And I think it's mostly because of the endless Twilight references. And they're just so funny and they're so cute together. And just the way that they show up for each other is perfect. I've bought multiple copies of this book and given it as gifts to people, and they've all loved it too. So I am very, very, very highly recommending this to you. 5 star, 5 star, 5 star. It is another STEM romance. So if you like STEM romances, you'll like this one. All right. And then after that, I want to say I got into the Naturals series. I don't have all of them. I think I physically read the first 2 books and then I listened to the last 2 or 3. This one is a young adult series. It is about these kids that are in a program for gifted children, teens, that go around and solve cold case murders. And I thought that was a really cool concept, very similar to A Girl's Guide to Murder. I think this one is a little bit darker and had more depth to it than A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. But I enjoyed it. I think overall I gave each book a 3.5 star. So I would definitely read it again as like a fall read. Let's see here. Then I got into Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This was my first book by her that I have read. Really good writing. She is a really good author for like mystery horror books. I definitely am looking forward to getting into The Housemaid next. But this one was really good. I think she was stuck in a house and trying to figure out like who killed the previous tenant. So that was a really cool like plot twist that happened at the end. This one, newlyweds Trisha and Ethan are searching for the house of their dreams. They think they found it when they visit the remote manor that once belonged to Dr. Adrian Hale, a renowned psychiatrist who vanished without a trace years ago. But when a violent winter storm traps them at the estate, the house begins to lose its appeal. Stuck inside and growing restless, Trisha stumbles on a collection of audio transcripts from Dr. Hale's sessions with patients, which, if you're in the medical field, you know that is a big no-no. I don't know exactly how it works in the realm of like psychology, but there's a huge problem with, especially because she brought it home. I think she was able to get around it because she works from home, but there's just so many HIPAA laws. Like, you got to be careful. I feel like there was a big violation that happened there, but that's besides the point. Anyways, so Trisha listens to the cassette tapes. She learns about the terrifying chain of events leading to the doctor's mysterious disappearance. With each tape, another shocking piece of the puzzle falls into place, and a web of lies slowly unravels. But by the time Trisha reaches the final cassette, the one that reveals the entire horrifying story, it'll be too late. Really good plot twist. I was shocked. Shocked. I think just because of the mindset I was in, though, I only gave it, what did I give it? Like a 3 star. I'm going to read her other books and see if I feel like that's accurate. That might change. We'll see. Killer Instinct and All In, I gave them 3.5 stars. And then I got into the Assistant to the Villain series. So you have Assistant to the Villain, Accomplice to the Villain, and Apprentice to the Villain, which these are so stinking cute. They're little rom-coms in like a fairy realm. Who doesn't love that? This is just, you have the grumpy villain and then the Sunshine Girl, who is his assistant. And just the love story that develops, the way that the character for Evie changes is really well done, but also the frog. Come on, Kingsley, the cutest character there. I really, really, really love this. I cannot wait for the next book in the series to come out. I think about this book series all the time, and I recommend it a lot. I recommend it quite a bit. Sorry, I keep turning around. it is what it is. I'll put it here so maybe it's a little bit easier to hear and see me. But I gave Apprentice to the Villain a 4 stars and Accomplice to the Villain a 5 stars. And then Assistant to the Villain, I think I would have given a 4 star because that was a really good one as well. I liked how it started out. They did really, really well with that. How to Survive Your Murder was... Is it that one? No, it's this one. This one was cute. It looks... To me, it felt a lot like... I don't know if you guys have ever watched the, like, teen thriller slasher movies on Netflix back this fall, 2025, where like the sisters, one of them dies and then they time travel and stuff like that. Very similar feeling and concept in this book on How to Survive Your Murder. But I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I think that I gave it a 3.75 stars. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Let's see here. The next one I read was First Fly Wins, and this one is about Evie Porter. So the identity comes first. Evie Porter. Once she was given a name and location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. Then the mark, Ryan Summer. The last piece of the puzzle is the job. Evie isn't privy to Mr. Smith's real identity, but she knows this job will be different. Ryan has gotten under her skin, and she's starting to envision a different sort of life for herself. But Evie can't make any mistakes, especially after what happened last time. Evie must stay one step ahead of her past while making sure there's still a future in front of her. The stakes couldn't be higher, but then Evie has always liked a challenge. So it doesn't tell you a whole lot. It is definitely a mystery, like suspense case where somebody just embeds themselves as like a mole or just the sneaky person who makes up their own background story and just inserts themselves into somebody's life casually. Obviously, like, she's hired to do this as a job, but was it good? Yes. Is it good for the fall? Yeah. It didn't stick with me. So I think this is something that I would enjoy just for the like feeling of, hey, I'm reading a thriller in the fall, right? But it's not something that I would just rave about, I would say that I gave it a 3 star. Okay, and then Home is Where the Bodies Are. I don't have the physical book. I listened to it on audiobook. That one was good. I think it was just crazy the way that it ended because you find out that it wasn't who you thought it was. But it's like a hometown murder case, and the fact that it was like super heavily embedded in this family the whole time and nobody knew that it was that person, wild to me. I don't think that it would be something that I would also like rave about. It was okay, it was an okay read, and I gave that a 2.75 stars, just because I don't think about it. It's not something that sticks with me as like a, oh my god, you have to read this book. Better Than the Movies was the next one that I listened to, so it's not physically on my shelf, but I thought it was cute. It's a little YA romance, and it's very similar plot as to things like, oh, what was it? The Duff. If you've ever watched that on Netflix, that one I think gave the same similar concept of like the boy next door is popular and the girl next door is in love with him, but she's just too shy and too nerdy to be loved back, and then they fall in love with this whole like fake dating, trying to make her look better, popular trope. Cute, but again, not something that I think about all the time. So that was like a 3 star for me. And then Not Quite Dead Yet. I don't have it on my shelf because I'm letting someone borrow it right now, but Not Quite Dead Yet. Oh my god. If you have not read it, you need to read it. It is so good. It is, I think, because it's so well like known what the plot is. Basically, this girl, she ends up coming home after, I think it was a fair in her town for like Halloween or something. Comes home, nobody's there. There's like cookies on the table, whatever, and then she gets killed, right? And then you spend the entirety of the book trying to figure out like who killed her. But is she actually dead? No, she's not dead. She's living, but she has like a timeline of death, right? Um, so really good. I love the way that it was done. I think that Jet as a character, very, very like deep character, but she was just so obnoxious for me at times just because of her personality. Understandably so, why her personality was that way. Um, but I loved that book. I will continue to rave about it. I think that was a 5 star in the thriller realm for me. Let's see here. The next one was Falling Like Leaves. This one, really cute. If you, again, it's always going to get equated to Gilmore Girls. That's the same feeling it gives off. Really cute little small town romance in the fall, sprayed edges, like adorable. I would read it again just for the coziness of the feeling of like, oh, it's fall and they're loving each other, and um, or they're falling in love. But it's not one that sticks with me for sure. I think I gave it a 3.75, 4 stars. But it's a cute little atmospheric read for sure. Um, let's see. Then I read Quicksilver and Brimstone. So this one and this one. Quicksilver and Brimstone by Callie Hart. Holy cow, I shouldn't have waited this long to read these books. They were so good. Um, I gave them both 5 stars. They're amazing. I love the little fox in this series. I love the romance between the two main characters. I love that it has that like um not Egyptian or really like Arabian feel to it, but because it's like a sandy dune, like harsh environment feel to it, I absolutely ate it up. It was so good. 5 stars. Really good. Recommend it. Um, let's see, what else did I read last year? And Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I didn't buy it. I listened to it. Again, cute atmospheric read. I think I gave it 3.75 stars. Um, and then I listened to Carrie and Salem's Lot by Stephen King. Stephen King is a really good author. I think that he is very good at like building that suspense through any of his like books. The problem that I had with Salem's Lot was it was really hard for me to kind of understand what was going on with the vampires in that series. But maybe it's just because I was listening to it and not reading it. Overall, I think I gave them a 4 star, 4.2. They were good. I enjoyed them. I think I'll read more Stephen King books this year. Um, but overall, I think It by Stephen King was my favorite. Just a special place in my heart for sure. Other than that, I know that I didn't physically pick up 70 books. The reason behind that was because a lot of it was like series. So if I talked about the series as a whole, then I just kind of encompassed it together like that. But I would love to hear what you guys read for 2025. Please tell me in the comments down below. What books were you reading? Did you reach your reading goals? What are your reading goals for 2026 now that we are 1 month into it? And what were your favorite books? What books do you recommend? I absolutely love books, and I would love to hear all about your reading journey. But until next time, I'll see you later, Page Pixies.